Welcome to 5 Minutes or Less, the video game series where we talk about a variety of gaming-based subjects including reviews, news, and topics in 5 minutes or less. Today we're reviewing Remnant 2, so let's get started. Remnant 2 is the most unique, semi-roguelike Dark Souls with guns sequel that you'll ever play, and if that's not a mouthful for a headline, I don't know what is. At its heart, Remnant 2 is a co-op Souls-like shooter. I hesitate to use the words looter shooter because there is a lot of loot in this game, but everything is a fixed version of itself, mostly to cater to the RPG aspects of build diversity, which is very strong. As a matter of fact, I would argue this is more of an RPG than anything else, and equating it to Dark Souls with guns is pretty accurate. It has its own unique style and flavor that sets it apart from many other Soulsborne games, just like Remnant 1 did, but you can certainly see why people draw the comparison. So what does Remnant 2 do good, and what does it do badly? Starting with the good, boss fights. The number of unique boss fights and fun mechanics in this game is crazy. There's even one boss that's technically two bosses that they could have just copy and pasted and given him the same moveset and colored him differently, but they didn't do that. Each one of them has unique mechanics. There are a few of them that feel a little unfair for their unnecessary difficulty. Kind of like how in Dark Souls 2, a lot of the bosses had like extra tracking on their attacks, or they would move or scoot their models over to hit you. There's a little bit of that in a couple of bosses here, but only one or two. It's not that bad. Build diversity. I cannot say enough about the build diversity to clearly demonstrate the amount of options you have in this game when it comes to creating unique builds. There are 120 rings, 60 amulets, 33 traits, 16 relics, 39 relic fragments, 10 classes, and each class contains 3 unique abilities and 5 unique perks. Yeah, it will take you a very long time to run out of options or things to collect or try in terms of build diversity in this game, and some of the things you can put together are crazy. And lastly, exploration, secrets, variety, and difficulty. The difficulty is easy to talk about because you have a large variety of options from survivor all the way to apocalypse once you beat the game, and there's also hardcore modes. Once your character dies once, it's done. But what really makes the difficulty and the exploration and the variety and the secrets all tie together is that between myself and my 2 other friends that are doing our hardcore run with currently, we have a combined total of 140 hours and 3 unique campaigns completed. And we are still running into unique puzzles that none of us have ever seen that have wiped our hardcore group multiple times. I think that should clearly demonstrate just the amount of secrets and uniqueness that we continue to find in this game that keep us invested. It's damn close to a roguelike with the amount of variety in this game. So that's all the good that Remnant 2 does. But what about the bad? Well, there's really only 2 bad things. One of them is performance on the technical side of things, and the other is story-based. For the performance side of things, while it generally does run at a solid 4K 60 FPS, there are absolutely locations that drop down to the 40s, sometimes even the 30s. So unless you have some frame generation technology on a 4000 series NVIDIA GPU, you will have a struggle bus of performance in some areas that cause me a few headaches. Aside from that, it crashed 4 times in my 50 hours of playing, but with the recent stability fix, those crashes seem to be gone entirely. So, not that many technical issues. But Remnant 2's biggest sin is its story. While it starts off pretty strong and it gives you reason to push through each new world, it quickly falls off, and the ending is bizarre, only adding more questions and making little sense. I'm not going to give any spoilers here, but I will leave you with this. This game is on the side of giving us more questions than answers. We have the questions we started the game with, and by the end of the game, we still have those same questions and a bunch more that it added on with some nonsensical cutscene that doesn't really give us any concrete answers. Giving you no answers to these questions along with the bizarre ending, which makes you even wonder if the game's story even matters in its entirety, is not satisfying in the least bit. So, in summation, if you can ignore the story and the minor technical issues, Remnant 2 is one of the best third-person RPG Souls-like shooters I've ever played and one of the best games I've played so far this year. It's a weird but unique game, and Remnant 2 gets an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching this review in 5 minutes or less. I'm Guns. You can watch all the Remnant action, and as we go through and review Baldur's Gate, Starfield, Payday 3, and many more coming out this fall season over at twitch.tv/GUNZGAMES. We'll also have guides for games coming up in the near future. GG, guys.